So this video is a bit different because usually I really like to make deep dives and crunching the numbers, doing Excel sheets and all of that stuff. But recently I see something with Li Bin, the CEO of NIO, which is just beyond numbers. And I think it's all about sentiment and how Li Bin is actually moving and behaving and so on. Now you can tell me if I'm wrong here, maybe I'm reading too much between the lines here and you have a different impression, but I feel that Li Bin is recently in a really good mood and I think it reflects that the business is going really strongly. So for instance, today I saw a video with Li Bin in the Chinese startup media and he was really in a good mood and talking about like how NIO is actually challenging Tesla in China and generally really confident and also joking around about like what he said in the past, like how he could catch up with Tesla, and now really confident into the fact that NIO is a Chinese company, understands the user very well, and even achieves stuff like the average sales price of NIO is actually higher than Tesla, and kind of thereby eradicating the fact that NIO is just a Chinese copycat here. So really bullish and really confident moves here. Now this interview just came today, so that's after Battery Day, and maybe some of you have seen already my analysis about Battery Day. And in this video I made a point that NIO's business model with BAS is actually the only answer that the industry has if Tesla really has those battery advancements here. And I think those reactions of Li Bin in this interview going forward and being this confident, it really shows you that he is possibly thinking the same and he's not impacted by a Battery Day in a way of, oh, we have no chance of competing in the market. So why is it that Li Bin is in this good mood and more confident about NIO? Well, I think he is realizing more and more of how well NIO has come out of this crisis and is now getting more and more traction, and in many ways is actually well positioned to execute on the opportunity and also scaling faster and faster with new models coming out, sales rising. And also during the Beijing Motor Show now announced new infrastructure investment in charging piles, as well as a new software upgrade for NIO cars, introducing navigating on autopilot functionality similar to Tesla. NIO Autopilot will now improve in terms of ramping on highways, ramping off highways. So this is already better than what I was able to test in China last time that I've been there. So although Tesla is still leading this area of autonomous driving, and the NIO Navigate on Pilot has not the same take rate, for instance, and not the same functionalities as Tesla's, and it's not as advanced. However, it seems like, you know, the feeling is there that they are catching up. And now with all those investments that they've done in the previous years, they're now reaping the fruits of it and becoming more and more strong in the quality and the user experience that they can deliver to their customers on many levels, and they're actually able to compete in this industry and more manifesting a position that can actually not be copied anymore by any other car OEM here. And it even seems like Li Bin is confident that even Tesla cannot catch up at some point in time, as he is mentioning that NIO is actually closer to the Chinese user. They know the Chinese ecosystem better, and this is the competitive advantage that they have in China. So these days you can see Li Bin, he's smiling, he's joking, he's in a good mood and a good sentiment, and this clearly reflects what is going on under the hood, and is also reflected by the recent news, for instance, that Volkswagen is now investing 15 billion in China in order to ramp the electrification. And now in context, this means that NIO with just 5 billion in initial investment has done so much more when it comes to brand, when it comes to the EV tech, the intellectual property, and, you know, building this user base, and now even extending on the charging network in China. These are all steps that NIO has been taken early, and this also results in the fact that Li Bin actually now is purchasing even more shares in the NIO China entity back with the latest capital raise, which is for us NIO investor basically an equity for equity swap. So good news, NIO ADR, in which we are invested, is now owning even more shares of NIO China and still has the local Hefei government as one of the shareholders, which is also important for NIO to get the necessary support, for instance with scaling the charging infrastructure and the swapping stations. So all in all, these are some qualitative observations here. This is nothing that manifests in any numbers, and it's just about the sentiment, but I can clearly feel that Li Bin, he is in a good mood. He suddenly starts going out, giving media appearances, and also focused much more now these days on China, which is NIO's stronghold and where they see their competitive advantages from which they can even scale globally in the future. So let me know down in the comments whether or not you share my impressions here, or whether you think I'm reading too much between those lines here. Anyways, I hope you appreciate the video, so please smash the like button, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to stay updated for more news on NIO China, on other Chinese IPOs, as well as companies that are really exposed to the Chinese market. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.